So let's talk about multiple streams of income, one of my favorite things. And we all will love to have multiple streams of income, right? We want business A paying us X amount of dollars and business B paying us X amount of dollars. And we don't necessarily want to rely on single income that's coming in. Now, in this video, let's go and talk about the myth, right? What is false and what is true are we using this idea of multiple streams of income to sell something? And unfortunately, a lot of people are. So we're going to talk about how do we systemize and build a business for multiple streams of income. That way you can go ahead and free yourself, right? Experience more life, travel the way you want to. That's what we'll talk about in this video. Hey guys, my name is Sam Kwok, one of the Kwok Brothers, real estate investor, and in this video we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, right? And that is the idea of multiple streams of income. Now, first of all, we're all hyped out, right? We're like, man, multiple streams of income, let's go, let's go, go. And you might be signing up from one business to the next and building the next business. And at one time, I honestly thought building multiple streams of income meant you have to have 8 different startups going all at the same time. So that's myth number one, is that you do not absolutely want to, and its least effective method is to start 10 multiple streams of income all at once, right? This doesn't work that way, right? Though there are ways to get to that level, but if you're just getting started in your entrepreneurial life, you are not going to want to build 10 multiple streams of income all at once, and it's totally ineffective. And this is one of the biggest myths that I'm really frustrated with. When a lot of people sell the idea of multiple streams of income, they think, hey, go out there and build 10 businesses or 10 streams all at once, right? Not going to happen. So the proper way to do it, and we're going to go in and I'll give you the steps to do it. The proper way to do it is to build one stream at a time, right? You take a look at any successful individuals or successful entrepreneurs, you'll notice that they had a phase of building one stream and then moving on to the next stream and then moving on to the next stream. Now, doing that in itself is definitely an art and a science. And we're going to talk about, again, I'll explain to you what it is, but I just wanted to make sure that we're busting all the myth, because there seems to be a lot of myth out there that is telling people to go ahead and build 10 streams of income all at once. So we have to get rid of that notion. So here's how I've been able to build multiple streams of income. And usually it runs in a 3 to 5 year phase. So each stream, yeah, it takes about 3 to 5 years. And you might be wondering, well, that's a little too much. I don't want to spend 3 to 5 years just to build one streams of income. Now, I'm just talking about average. Now, as you progress and as you become a more well-rounded individual and a well-rounded entrepreneur, this process becomes easy. But when you're just getting started, it's easy going to take you 3 to 5 years just to build that first stream of income, right? So the idea looks like this. So in your business, there's usually 4 steps in building your business that's self-sustaining. And let me just tell you guys right now, if you are self-employed and you're the only person working your business, you're not going to be able to scale that business fairly quickly. You're going to need some tools, you're going to need employees, you're going to need virtual assistants. You're going to need all those facets of the business to really build multiple streams of income. Because if you are working on one business and you are the only person in that business working, generating profit, then you aren't going to go jump into the next streams of income. So the first thing that has to happen is the creation, right? You need to create the business, right? What is your business? Do you sell products? Do you sell a service? If you are a photographer, you need to start understanding, well, am I the only talented individual that can do this? How do I automate this process? So we're going to jump from creation to building, okay, to automating and sustaining. So first, you're going to have to create the business, and then you're going to have to build it. You have to get to profitability. And a lot of people don't understand this because they're so romantic, they're so excited, they're blinded by, right, just the creation and the building aspect of it. So you have to have a profitable system and a process in place, because if you don't have this part, it's hard to do that, the automation part. So you got to have the building phase done. You need to know what's sustainable and what's profitable. And another mistake that I see is that during the building phase, or even before the building phase, people spend way too much money and throwing money at it, investing money at it, thinking that that's going to help grow the business. Now it may, But a lot of times, just figuring out what's profitable doesn't take a whole lot of resources and money to do. So for example, let's say you start a bakery business, right? You're gonna do something that's generic. Let's say you're building a bakery business. Well, you need to understand in that building phase, what works in marketing, what works in production, what makes people buy, what makes people come through your store and pay the price that they're gonna pay. That's the part we're gonna figure out. Once you have a profitable system, right? Once you have the system in place and in process, then you'll know how to exactly automate. Because when you have the system, okay, working for your business, right? All you have to do is replace yourself, right, in your business by hiring employees, hiring managers, hiring assistants to just run the system. So instead, relying on you being there in your business, now you're relying on the system. The business is being run on a system. So McDonald's is a good example. McDonald's, right, it's never really people dependent, it's more so system dependent, where you can get a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, or even an 18-year-old to run a McDonald's successfully and profitable. So this is the part where you have to be really good at. And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't make it past this because they're afraid to jump into the next level, which is the automation, right? In the automation, you're hiring people, you're hiring for the role, right? And here's a mistake that I see a lot of people doing is they hire just for the sake of hiring, right? You don't want to do that. You want to hire for a role, right? You want to break down your system and say, well, in my system, I need, going back to the bakery example, I need a cashier, I need the baker, right? And I may need a manager, okay? And previously, you may have been cashier, baker, manager, right? You were the solopreneur. But you're breaking this down to a system where you need a cashier, you got a baker, you got a manager. Now, this is scalable to where you got one person ringing the register, you got another person doing the baking, right? Because if you have one person doing everything, right, you're not going to be as efficient and effective in all three areas, nor a single person can be. So you're going to start breaking this down to a system, right? Cashier, baker, manager. And as your business grows, you're going to start adding more people underneath the category. You're going to have multiple bakers, you're going to have multiple cashiers, you may have 1 or 2 managers, right? And you're going to grow in proportion to where you can handle hundreds and thousands of customers coming in and out. So in the automation phase, right, you're going to hire the cashier, baker, manager, and you may implement software system to make this more fluid, right, to allow your employees and assistants to work in a more efficient manner. There's automation systems such as workflow automation, task automation, marketing automation. Those are all part of that step right here. So once you automate the business, right, where you're no longer the cashier, baker, and the manager, you got these people going, now you have a sustainable system where it's profitable, right? You're making money without you necessarily being there all the time. So now the next thing you got to do is you got to sustain that growth, right? You can't just stay in one, right? You can't just plateau. So in sustaining mode, you may still involve yourself in this business maybe 1 or 2 hours a week, working directly with the manager to see how the business is running. But really in this step, you're just calling the shots, right? You're just making sure that, hey, my company is going to go to this direction or that direction. You're just calling the shots as to where is the business going to go in the next 10, 20 years, right? You want to have a sustainable business. So in sustaining mode, not only are you growing, but you're also adapting, making shots, making decisions, changing, and adapting to the new market forces. But the actual operation, the running of the business should be done by your people, right? The system and the tools that you've employed. Then you move on to the next business, to the next steps. So if you were a bakery business, maybe you move on to something that's similar to saying flour manufacturing business. And I mean the flour for bread, right? Not, you get it. So you get to the next business that you're most familiar with. That's my tip, and that's another mistake that I see, is that people go from one industry and jump ship to another industry and they fail, right? Because they don't know there's a learning curve to when you move to a different industry. So for me, I'm in the real estate investing industry, and if I were to build my next business, it's gonna be about real estate, right? It's gonna be about renting and fixing and flipping houses. So when you look at this industry, you have to kind of find your passion, right? You say, well, I love cooking, I love baking. That's what I'm going to start with. Great. So you start with the bakery business, and then when you have it, create it, build it, automate it, and sustain it, and then you move to the next business where, again, going back to that example, might be a flour production business where you're taking wheat and making flour, or you might be doing maybe another aspect of the business where you're taking this business online, right? Instead of doing a brick and mortar, maybe you want to ship baked goods to people and you want to build that business. So inside of the business industry, you're branching off to the next kind of aspect of that industry. Another good example is, let's say you start an auto mechanic business. Same thing, right? You're gonna create it, build it, automate it, sustain it, hiring the right people and placing the right tools, and you're working with cars. So maybe you jump to the next stream of income, which could be auto dealership, or you may get into collision repair, something that has to do with your industry. Because I've seen people who used to be in, let's say, auto mechanic industry, and they jump ship to my industry, real estate investing. They have a huge learning curve, and in fact, they get to a point where they're like so concerned about the next business that they let this business that they've built suffer, and ultimately everything just crashes. You don't want to do that. You still, again, there's the sustaining part. That's the part where, well, you have whatever you built, right? The cycle of building it for 3 to 5 years. If you don't keep it sustaining, then you're going to start losing your streams of income. So just to recap, let's break the notion and break that myth that you can build multiple streams of income all at once, right? Not going to happen. You have to build one stream of income at a time, right? Your focus, right, has to be about building one stream and then moving into the next stream and then the next stream, right? Now you're going to get to a point where you may have ton of money, you may have ton of capital and liquidity, to where now you can buy businesses that are already operating. And you may just go in and do these two things, right? Maybe the business is already profitable. You just need to pick up the automation and sustaining part, right? Or maybe it is already sustaining and you want to get in and just buy the business, hire the CEO, hire the employees, hire the manager, and let them run the show. This is kind of how Shark Tank works, right? Shark Tank, you guys know, America's one of America's favorite TV show. That's what the investors, that's what the sharks do, is they buy businesses, pieces of business. They just get involved in the sustaining and automation model. Some businesses, already, again, I said, they're already sustaining, and they just need to buy the business and let it cash flow and collect the dividends and the profit. So that's later down the road. Most of you guys getting started, right? You don't even have to think about that. Just focus on this, right? Work on your craft of creating, building, automating, and sustaining. And then once you go through that experience, you know exactly where that business is in terms of this phase. And this phase usually takes about anywhere between 3 to 5 years, okay, to really go through that phase. And you look at any business, whether it's a mega data empire like Facebook or your local bakery business, you'll notice that they go through the same phase where first year, they're not going to hit profitability. They're just working on their system and what works and figuring out what pays. And then from there, you start breaking down the system and then ultimately sustaining that business and growth and moving on to the next business. That's what a true entrepreneur. That's what a true entrepreneur means, right? You need to create a system that is sustainable, and you're moving on to the next business. So there you guys have it. Multiple streams of income. We're breaking it down, and this is more of an overview, right? We can go and talk about the marketing, the sales, the operation, financing, all of that, definitely for sure. And I'll go ahead and keep you guys updated with more videos in regard to that. But this is the idea behind building multiple streams of income. And I know we're all geeked up about it. We're all hyped up. Me too, right? This is how I've been able to build multiple streams of income. In fact, I have four streams of income today, and we're building the fifth one now. And here's another thing. You may decide that one stream of income may not be something that you want to keep. So you sell the business, right? Or you totally drop it. right? That may be a strategical move that you have to decide on to make sure that you're staying more efficient, you're spending less time doing the work and creating more money. Because after all, we all want to become free and independent, financially free, and just be able to travel, right? Experience more of life, take control of our situation, and overcome obstacles. That's all the things that we want to do, for sure. But the strategy portion, you have to really understand that. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys want to learn more, definitely do subscribe to our YouTube channel and click like on this video so that I can provide you guys with more business development tips and ideas for you guys to go and take on and build your business and make more money. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Well, hello there. You made it to the end of this video, which means you loved the video, you liked what you saw. If you want to see more awesome real estate investing videos and podcasts in the future, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to get more notification about our next videos.